And I didn't really know what child pornography was. You know, we all sort of have an idea of it, and I was afraid to ask as a mother, you know, because it would be very painful to hear. And I felt like I had to ask, though, and I feel like I have to share it with you guys now. And it is disturbing, and I want to warn you, but I feel it's my responsibility to tell you guys because it is the truth, and I believe if we all knew this, we would dedicate much more of ourselves to stopping it. So when I asked what child pornography entailed, yes, it's nude images of boys and girls under the age of 18. But now, because of high-speed internet, it's also videos very prominently. And videos of kids, and by kids I mean prepubescent, visibly prepubescent. And they make the distinction because of the internet and there's so much content, these pedophiles are desensitized. Because of that, the kids are getting younger and the content is getting that much more devastating. So when this law enforcement officer told me this, I asked him how young are the young kids he's seeing, and he told me infants. And I have a 6-month-old baby. So I said, what does that mean? You know, like what does an infant mean? And he said, with the umbilical cord still attached. I know it's so devastating to hear this, and I'm really sorry to share this, but I'm grateful that you guys are listening, because this is actually happening, and it's important that we know this and that it resonates with us so that we think about this in our days and in our personal life. So I asked them what happens in these videos, and you know, unspeakable things happen, but I'm again going to speak about them because I feel like if these kids are experiencing this, the least that they deserve is for us to hear what is actually happening to them. So no, it's not just touching. There is penetration. There is extreme torture and bondage. There is bestiality, which is having an animal penetrate the child or infant. There is incest. I mean, they said you think of it, anything you could think of, it's out there and it's being traded, and there's 30 to 50 million files a day being traded that we know of. I mean, you can see what's happening right now. And this is happening to any child and every child. You know, 90% of children know their abusers. So, you know, our children are at risk. You may know this person. It may be a doctor. It may be a coach. You know, I thought that people that were working with children were people that wanted to protect them. But oftentimes these people who have this propensity for wanting to lure children, and they find out a profession that gives them access to children, and lots of them. And ideal victims are young children because they can't speak up, and they don't make great witnesses. If they do, only 10% of children actually do speak up once they've been abused. So what's incredible about the Child Rescue Coalition is that they are proactive. They don't wait for these children to speak up. They can identify these pedophiles. They can see the IP address that's trading this child pornography. They don't know, there's no privacy issues, there's no big brothering. They see the IP address of who's trading these files, and they give that to law enforcement. And the trading of these files is a felony, so law enforcement can knock on that person's door and see if that person has access to a child. Because the average abuser abuses between 50 and 100 children in their lifetime, per person, per abuser. And the average person that views child pornography, between 55 and 90% of people viewing it are actually hands-on abusers or will become abusers. And you know, you think that sounds like a lot, 50 to 100, maybe that's unrealistic, but the kids age out of the age that they stay silent, or they age out of the sexual preference of the predator. And I was told the story of an oncologist, a pediatric oncologist who was raping his children with cancer by the hundreds. And there was a nurse who was working with children with mental and physical disabilities. And when he was caught, they asked him how many children he abused. And he looked outside the window at the snow and said, "How many snowflakes are there outside?" So this is so prevalent, and I want you guys to know this, and I want it to resonate with you, and I want you to see that the Child Rescue Coalition, in just 3 years, has found 9,000 predators so far. They have saved 2,000 children. And yes, they need donations. That's great, because then they can continue to make this tool free for law enforcement. But they also really need introductions, which is why I've been talking for way too long, and I'm very aware of that, and I'm sorry. But you guys are all very important and well-connected people. So this is my time to tell you, they need introductions. They need introductions to big companies. So for example, let's say, because they have the IP address of all of these predators, they could give the IP address over to care.com or Uber. And if that person is filing for an application to work at this company, to become a nanny or a driver, they're immediately rejected because they've traded child pornography. Or if Comcast wants to receive their list of IP addresses, or any big internet service provider, they can block that content from being shared because they know what those files are. There are no privacy issues. They just block that illegal content. So why the hell are we not doing this? It makes no sense. We have to make these introductions. We have to help these kids. It doesn't infringe on anything legally. So I just encourage you, table 17, we have flyers with the list of companies that need introductions. So thank you to Carly Youst, who's here, the founder and CEO of the Child Rescue Coalition. She is the real hero, along with everybody at the coalition, Bill Wiltsey. Thank you to everybody protecting our children. They are the real heroes. And thank you to all of you who spent your afternoon sitting here, listening to all of us talk about these things that are really painful. And I just think, I just feel really grateful to have the opportunity to speak for the people that aren't able to speak for themselves. And I know that all of us feel that way today. So thank you for valuing everyone's life, for these children's lives. Thank you. Sorry for talking for so long.